is, Clavicus Vile. And his sidekick, Barbas. Barbas is taking... Oh, man. This is a... Now, this guy is a little tricky sucker. One other thing I forgot to point out really quick before we approach him is I did sell our other two bows. I decided to go with the shock damage bow because I feel like the least amount of creatures in the game are going to be resistant to that. There's a fair bit that I think are going to be resistant to fire later on, and frost is intermittent. So I'm like, you know, there's only one that comes to mind that's resistant to shock right off the top of my head, but that's okay. I'll deal with that. All right, let's talk to whoever's in charge. Excuse me.
You approach the shrine of Clavicus Vile. You should not be here unless you have business with Lord Clavicus.
That I do. I do have business with him.
Here we worship Lord Clavicus. Do you have business with the Daedra?
What kind of business?
There are many deals to be made, even with a god. You could find great wealth, or painful death. If you wish to bargain with Clavicus Vile, approach with an offering of 500 gold, and hope the Lord smiles on your offering.
Okay.
Great fortunes to you.
Yeah, as you can tell by his offering and whatnot, this guy's, he's an interesting character. All right, let's make our donation. 500 gold.
A mortal! Wonderful. Always a pleasure. Perhaps you'll do service for me, mortal, and I'll reward you. A fair bargain, don't you think? You will retrieve for me a sword. A very special sword. It contains the soul of Umbra, a hero I have had dealings with in the past. Bring the sword to me, and I'll reward you with my mask. You'll not find a better bargain, mortal. Begin your search in Hell's Gate.
Okay. Statuette of Dog added. When I gave my offering at the Shrine of Clavicus Vile, he told me about Umbra and how he wishes me to return him the Umbra sword. I should start my search at Pell's Gate. Now, this is really interesting. Pell's Gate isn't too far to the east, I don't think. Now, we'll ride over there. So, I can just tell you right now, if you're into, like, the kinds of stories where somebody sticks it to a god...
Hello!
Oh, what the...
Hey! Pay attention! In your pack, the dog. I swear, you heroes aren't particularly quick on the uptake. Good. Got your attention. I'm Barbas, the Hound of Clavicus Vile. Not that I've always been Hound, or always been called Barbas. I've also been a Red Guard. For a while I was a scamp, making deals with orcs. But for now, I am his Hound, and I serve the Lord Clavicus. A word of advice here. You've made a bad deal. This Umbra, bad business. Things always end badly where that one's concerned. Clavicus has always been a little blind to that, and it'll end badly this time too. So just leave things be. Walk away. It's your best bet, really.
Okay, so this is what's interesting about Clavicus Vile. He has a sidekick called Barbas, and yeah, he's generally a hound, but like he said, he wasn't always a hound. I'll get to that in a second. Or he's been multiple things over the centuries. But here's what's interesting. Barbas, the Sword of Umbra. Okay, I don't know. I'm not going to pretend to know all the lore behind it. Umbra is freaking crazy awesome. Okay? The wielder, Umbra, and then the sword. You got to go look up the story of Umbra. There's actually 2 books about the Elder Scrolls, like actual published books in real life. And one of them, the Floating City or whatever, completely has to do with Umbra and the lore of Umbra. But essentially, I'll give you the mini version here. From what I remember, Umbra is a very powerful, otherworldly kind of hero being. And the sword is... Okay, so I can't remember the whole story, but I think Clavicus Vile tricked him. He got stuck in Clavicus Vile's realm. But there's a certain technique that can be used with magic to break out of Oblivion realms, and you have to have a really powerful artifact. Lo and behold, I can't remember all the details, but it got out. This sword has caused Clavicus so many problems. It is extremely powerful because of its original wielder. However, when mortals find the sword, once they come into possession of it, they become Umbra, but the problem is that they're never quite as powerful as the original Umbra or the power of the sword, and the sword controls them. So they lose their identity. So their name literally becomes Umbra. They think they're Umbra. Everything they do is about Umbra. It's an ebony, dark black sword with otherworldly power. Not Adric, not Daedric. Just something different altogether. There are some ties in the Floating City book to the Hist, and the interaction that's done there through similar trees from another dimension. It's really complicated, but freaking awesome. Highly recommend you check it out if you're into fantasy stuff. Anyways, he wants the sword. Barbas says it's not a good idea, that he's had problems with it before. Bringing the sword to him would be a mistake and likely to cause great ruin to Clavicus Vile's domain, which, if you read the lore, it has in the past. Now, something else interesting. Barbas, he talked about how he was a Red Guard. He was a scamp doing dealings with orcs. So I'm not sure about the Red Guard. I heard, so in the Elder Scrolls series of games, there was a game called Elder Scrolls Adventures Red Guard. It was not open world. It was an actual linear story game. It's really awesome. And it's about a Red Guard and how he fought against, in the Battle of Stros Mackay, to keep them independent from Tiber Septim and the Dragon Nephali Largus and all that stuff. Just an awesome, awesome story. It is canon, so there are books on it. But what's interesting is in that game there's a Red Guard. I can't remember his name, but it's implied that he is Barbas and he helps you. The other thing that's interesting is when he said scamp doing dealings with orcs in the game Morrowind, the two best merchants in the base game are a mud crab that talks, that sells booze, that has 10,000 gold. So, yeah, that sounds ridiculous. I'm not sure what the connection is there. But the other one that has 5,000 gold in their inventory is a random scamp who lives in a mining camp full of orcs. And I can't remember the settlement name. Is it Lay Ode? Something like that. But he lives there with the orcs. And it's implied that he is Barbas. So what's cool is people didn't really know that until this game came out years later. And then hardcore fans were like, oh, that's why that scamp had all that money. So, just something interesting to think about. So Zakine's not sure what he's going to do about this sword. Now, the sword is ultra powerful, but it is, I don't know, it's a great burden to carry. So we'll have to see how it goes. Oh, is that a Daedroth? Yeah, we're going to go ahead and pass that on by. See you later, Daedroth. I don't think he's very quick. I think we can outrun him. Yeah, we did. Hell's Gate. Now, this is a little town we passed by way back in the day when the very first time we went to Leyawiin. And I don't think it made it into the footage, but I did stop here and say hello to some people. So, we're going to have to ask around about Umbra. Now, if we bring the sword back to him, he says something about a mask. Could be useful, could not. But we'll have to see. Sword sounds a little more practical. Hail, Nord. Alright, we're here in Pell's Gate. Let's see what we can find. Oh, I'll talk to the Nord. Excuse me.
Welcome to Pell's Gate. What brings you around here?
I'm actually looking for a sword called Umbra.
Aye, I know of Umbra. But you're a stranger to me.
Of course I am. Where are my manners? We have basically infinite gold now. Now how about Umbra?
Umbra? That's a name I haven't heard in a while. And it's not one you should be using around Pell's Gate either.
Ooh.
Before I go on, let's clear something up. Are you here asking about the sword or the person? Which is it?
Okay. Very interesting. I'm looking for the sword.
It's a powerful sword, no doubt about that. Jet black, got a wicked edge on it. And they say it can steal a man's soul. I know of at least one soul it stole. Lenwyn. She's the one who found the blasted thing. I suppose you want to hear about the person now.
Yeah, tell me about the person.
Who is Umbra? I can tell you who Umbra used to be. Lenwyn. She's my apprentice, or at least she was, until she found that sword.
Uh-oh.
Never did say where it came from. She just showed up with it one day, said it was called Umbra. But she was different. She'd always been fair with a sword, but she began looking for fights, became bloodthirsty, and then started calling herself Umbra after the sword. Finally signed on with some mercenaries, but I hear that ended too. We haven't seen her in years.
Oh, sad. Any idea where she could be now?
Can't say for sure. Some say they've seen her nearby, near the Vindasal ruins. Might just be wishful thinking, though. If she's around, she hasn't come into Pell's Gate, nor should she. I fear that girl is long gone. If you seek her out, take care. She's a powerful one, or at least that sword is. I'd steer clear if I was you.
I'm afraid that's not an option, but thank you.
I wish you luck. I fear you'll need it.
I do as well. Oh, that's where that Daedroth was that we ran from. I'm going to leave my horse here so he's safe. I think we moved just about, with our weapon put away, we've moved probably about the same speed as our horse. Maybe not quite as fast, but we can get over there in no time. So as you can see what I'm telling you about, Umbra is very powerful, otherworldly. It has a connection to the people that it comes into contact with. But dang is it strong. Now, here's the thing. There are a lot of glitches and exploits along with this sword that people use. It's one of the easiest ways to get a full suit of ebony armor early in the game. The sword is wicked powerful. In fact, this sword and Goldbrand are argued as the two most powerful swords in the game. That's because this one does even more base damage, but it doesn't do as much on paper if they're not resistant to fire as Goldbrand. But there's a certain way, because it's a quest item at one point, that you can keep it weightless. And people exploit that, which is fine. That's up to them. And makes it so that... Oh, what the... of course. The one thing that's resistant to my shock. A Storm Atronach. Let's not use Storm Arrows. What do we have? Winter Arrows? These will do. We haven't fought a Storm Atronach. I love these things. Oh. Problem is when you knock them apart like that, they turn into a lot of little rocks. They're not even going to see us because our sneak. Let's go fight him so I can show you guys what he looks like. See, he's in a million pieces and then he'll come back together. Freaking cool. I love Storm Atronachs. They're very powerful, though. Always have been one of the more powerful Daedric creatures in these games, for sure. And they drop Void Salts, which are fairly rare, because they're not ultra common. Alright. Let's do this. Let's head in and... it might be Legendary Blade against Legendary Blade as Goldbrand enters the fray with Umbra. Maybe we can talk her back into her senses. Who knows? And it's really making us go through some... Oh, look. There she is. That's Umbra. Or Lenwyn, as her name once was. I have a feeling we're not going to be able to talk her down out of this, but we shall try. We'll approach with our weapon sheath. Excuse me.
Get out of here while you can. You risk much by speaking to me. You should leave this place. Now.
Umbra.
Umbra is my blade. It is who I am. Who I was meant to be. For years I have fed my blade the souls of man and Mer. Warriors and priests, kings and paupers, men, women, and children, all have bled for me.
Jeez.
I have seen them all fall, and still Umbra hungers for more.
What about your life at Pell's Gate?
Do not speak to me of that place. It was another lifetime. It was before I became what I am now. Perhaps they sent you to kill me. Are they worried I might come in the night and burn their village down around them? no matter. I am what I've become, and I know my fate. But what of you? What is it you seek? My death? My blade? I offer you a choice, more than I have offered most. Stay here and die, or leave now and live your life. Speak to me again when your mind is set.
All right, well...
This is your out, friend.
Oh.
Leave it alone. How about we just march on back to the shrine and tell Clavicus the deal is off? Sure, he'll be a bit put off, but you won't be dead. At least, you probably won't. That's better odds than you're getting here.
Umbra will feast on your soul.
All right, I've made up my decision. We can't afford to be put off by such petty things. We shall use our Red Guard power of adrenaline rush and pummel her into the ground. For glory. I have made my decision, Umbra.
I assume you've made your choice. Umbra hungers. What shall it be?
We fight.
Come then, try your luck. Feel the bite of Umbra.
So if we're killed by the sword, we're going to lose our soul. Oh.
My support!
Oh, she's strong. She's one of the strongest enemies in the whole game. A battle for the ages. Goldbrand versus Umbra. Umbra shall be mine. Oh! Not if she has something to say about it, huh? Oh, she's fast, too.
You die!
They've done it. Holy moly. This is... There it is. Not gonna lie, Zakine's a little scared to pick it up. By the way, that's right, she has a unique set of ebony armor. I think it's not as good as regular ebony, but it's the same look. It's worth okay money, honestly. It's not worth our time at this point. There it is. It's just laying there on the ground in front of us. Against his better judgment, Zakine's gonna pick up the sword. I've retrieved the Umbra sword.
I'm telling you, don't bring that sword back to Clavicus. It'll ruin him, I'm sure. I mean, not completely. He's still a Daedra prince and all that. Look, keep the sword if you want. That's your decision. But don't give it back to Clavicus. He doesn't know what's good for him sometimes.
Well, let's repair it up and see what it does now compared to Goldbrand. I'm interested. I've never looked at them when they're over repaired. So here's Goldbrand, 30 damage, 22 fire, 33 damage. Holy moly, that's the most in the game, I'm pretty sure, of any one-handed sword. 30. Oh. Soul Trap, 120 seconds. So if you hit them with it and it triggers, what that does is if you kill them within that 2-minute window, which is very reasonable, you get their soul. Right now it weighs nothing. But I'm not going to exploit the game because I want... Look at that. We better get Goldbrand back out for now. Zakine hasn't decided what to do with the sword yet. Oh, stupid poison. We're a red guard, please. Petty gas. But we haven't decided what to do yet, because that is quite a... That's a serious thing to have to decide. I mean... I don't know. It's very, very powerful. It's a very unique opportunity that we're we're being given, but is it worth it, I guess, is the real... Oh, shoot. I'm trying to click the right button to equip something. Is it worth it? That's ultimately the question we have to answer. See, Barbas is gone right now because he's with us. What do we do?
You've brought the sword! Now give it to me. As we agreed, Umbra and I have unfinished business.
I kind of feel like Bilbo in The Hobbit. Why shouldn't I keep it? You know, it's kind of how I feel right now. Actually, I have an idea. Well, dang. We could give Clavicus Vile the... Here's one way of thinking. If we gave Clavicus Vile the sword... Because Zakeen's not a big fan of this guy. He's pretty leery of Daedra in the first place, because obviously that isn't his original religion anyway, but... This one's obviously has his own agenda, and isn't exactly a good guy. On top of that, Varvis has told us if we give him the sword, it'll ruin him. At least temporarily. He won't be destroyed because he's a Daedra, but he will... He'll be in some serious stuff. So the question is, do we anger him by not giving him the sword? Do we take our chances ticking off a Daedric prince? Or do we give him the sword with the hope that it does some serious damage to him and he goes into recluse for who knows how many years? But if he loses his power, he's not going to be able to officiate as much here in our realm. I think for the greater good, we're going to have to return Umbra and hope that it keeps him at bay from our realm for a while. Keeps him busy with other things than meddling in the affairs of us mortals. Yes, I shall return the sword.
Excellent! A pitiful sword with a pitiful soul in exchange for a mask fit for a god. You've gotten the better of this bargain, mortal. Now, I have business to attend to. Run along. Perhaps I'll be looking for you again.
I sure hope not. Clavicus Vile appreciated my efforts. He has taken the Umbra sword and rewarded me with the mask of Clavicus Vile. Well, let's see what this is. Now, I'm pretty sure this won't be useful because it's heavy armor. Fortify personality, 20 points. It is unique. It's very interesting.
Oh well, been good knowing you, kid. Back to being his hound for me. As for you, good luck, I guess. I've met worse.
Huh. Thanks, Barbas. I've met worse. Well, that means something coming from him. Anyways, pretty interesting helm. Not super useful, but we'll hang on to it. It is a Daedric artifact, after all. So, who knows? Might come in handy one day down the road. Alright, well, on to the next quest, I guess, then. Yeah, I hope you guys are enjoying the Daedric quests so far. They are wild. And doing them at max level, I've never done them all at max level before. It's fun. Like, this is crazy. I am going to turn up the difficulty even more. We're just so freaking strong. I mean, I've never played with the difficulty this high. It could be a complete disaster. I don't know. So, bear with me. I've never played something this high a level, so I don't know what's going to be appropriate for us or not. I want it to be a challenge, though, at this point. I mean, we are doing max level content here. I don't want it to be a snore fest. That being said, we had a decent little battle with Umbra. I hear like a mud crab or something. Forget that. We'll just discover this. Bear in mind. So let's see here. Southwest of the bridge that crosses. Oh, we might have to go. I think it's on the other side of the river, actually. Let's move it. Oh, this is actually not the prince I was looking for, but let's do it. This is a fan favorite right here. Sheol-Goroth, the Prince of Madness. The Prince of Madness, you say? Yeah, just look at how the people are dressed at his shrine for a sec. Look at this guy. What Look at this chick.
Have you seen it? Have you seen the light? The bright, shining light? I know it. It waits for you. Speak with Radel. He knows the way.
Okay. So everyone here is off their hinges. These guys aren't wearing pants. Ravo.
Place? Not place? Here. Not here?
What?
Welcome to the Grove of Madness, stranger. Or go away. Who knows? Time will tell.
Alrighty then. Tell me about the Shrine of Sheogorath.
Killed and ate a Bosmo there, but it made me sick. Saw Lord Sheogorath in the vomitus, so that's all right. Here to sacrifice? A limb would be nice.
That's not happening. I wish to speak to Sheogorath. I feel like we're going to regret this, but...
Then approach the shrine. Of course, he won't appear, because it's not raining. He loves the rain. And you'll need an offering. I think a lesser soul gem, a head of lettuce, and some yarn will do the trick. Yes, that's what Sheogorath wants.
You're a strange one. Thanks.
We watch and wait.
Does it really have to be raining? I don't recall that being a requirement. Let's just try it here. Oh, maybe not. Do you wish to leave your offerings at the altar of Sheogorath? Yes.
Another mortal dares to summon me, and already I'm bored. But enough about me. Let's talk about you. I could turn you into a goat, or a puddle, or a bad idea. I could make you eat your own fingers, or fall in love with a cloud. Perhaps I could make you into something useful. Let's find out. There's a little settlement called Border Watch. It's a nice, peaceful place. And dull. You're going to make their lives interesting. They're a superstitious bunch. Everything is an omen or a portent. Let's make one come true. Find their shaman and ask about the Kashara prophecy. You are to find a way to make the first two parts of the prophecy come true. I'll take care of the rest, because it's the most fun. Now, run along!
Okay, Prince of Madness. He's pretty wild. I love his voice actor. Gosh. Alright, I gotta go to Border Watch. They have a prophecy of some sort. I'm going to make the first two acts happen, and then he's going to take care of the third, which he claims is going to be great. Alright, Border Watch. This is a quaint little town. Oh, it appears everyone is Khajiits. Let's talk to the shaman. Excuse me.
Welcome to Border Watch, stranger. You're welcome here. I am Rabatza, shaman of our people.
Pleasure to meet you. Can you tell me about the Kashara prophecy?
You know of the Kashara prophecy? How odd. Are you some sort of scholar?
I'll just play along. I am a traveling scholar.
Wonderful. I would be glad to tell you more. It has been told from our fathers and our fathers' fathers that our time in this place will come to an end. My great-great-great-grandfather, Kashara, foretold of a time when we would receive 3 signs from the gods, signaling the end of the world.
Wow. So, what are these 3 signs?
These are the signs as they were foretold. First, there is the plague of vermin. It is said our town will be overrun by disease-carrying creatures.
All right.
Rats, I would imagine. Horrible little things. I always keep a powerful rat poison around in case I see one of the little monsters. Next is the plague of famine. It is foretold that our livestock will fall dead in their fields woods with no apparent explanation. We have but the 6 sheep in our pasture, and we make sure they are well tended.
Fair enough. What is the third sign of this prophecy?
The plague of fear. I will not speak of this, not to any outsider.
Whoa.
I'll answer anything else I can. Is there something more? Perhaps you would like to know more about Border Watch itself.
Sure. Tell us a little bit about Border Watch. I think it's interesting a bunch of Khajiit live here.
I'm glad you asked. I could go on all day about our little community. We are but a handful of Khajiit, as you can see. Many are the evenings we spend around the cooking fire, sharing stories of elsewhere. The smell of our food travels for miles. If you'd like to stay, I'd suggest getting a room at the Border Watch Inn. We don't get many visitors, but Satasa serves a fine ale. She also has the finest collection of cheeses in the Empire. Her prized cheese has such a powerful aroma. She keeps it sealed in a case.
Interesting. Well, thank you very much.
Interesting.
So, it looks like we have a work cut out for us. A large collection of cheeses at the inn, huh? And what was the first part of the prophecy? Something about rats? Guess what rats like? And Sheogorath also has a fetish of cheeses. I'm not kidding. It's ridiculous. Hi.
Welcome to the Border Watch Inn. We don't get many visitors. Please, feel free to stay a while. Take a seat, or feel free to look around. We have a fine collection of cheeses here. Some of the rarest in all Tamriel.
Okay. Tell me about the cheeses.
It's been a hobby of mine for years. I've collected cheeses from all over Tamriel, including the rare Olroy cheese. A more pungent cheese you'll never find. It looks smooth, but it stinks to the heavens and beyond.
Interesting.
I keep it locked away tight. If I were to try cooking with it, the smell alone would draw rats for miles. It's a lovely conversation piece, though.
Certainly. Hey, thank you.
Goodbye.
Keeps it locked away. It's probably in this single case by itself here. Well, good thing we're rather stealthy. Let's try our luck at infiltration here. Seem to be hidden at the moment. Let's try it out. Thank you. Ha ha ha. Cooking pot. Yep. I placed the Olroy cheese into the cooking pot. The smell coming from it is astounding.
Not bad.
What's the new...
Look at all the mice. They're freaking out right now. They're like, "What the?" I've used cheese to lure many rats into Border Watch. I should speak with Rabasa to see if he believes this is part of the prophecy. Oh no.
Could it be?
Rabasa.
Kashara.
Hold still for a sec. Hey.
No time to talk. I have to get rid of these rats.
We need to get to Rabasha's house.
These are...
You've seen it.
Oh.
You've seen the first sign. Perhaps this is the beginning of the Kashara.
Oh no. What a horrible thing.
This certainly seems like one of the signs. It is unnatural to have this many rats gather in one place.
Definitely.
I can only hope that the rat poison I have put down will take care of them all. It is a powerful poison, though, so it should do the trick.
Oh, what's this? Some rat poison on the ground. That would be a shame if somebody put it in with the food supplies. Yeah, I put rat poison in the feeding trough. We keep them well tended. Well, everybody seemed to get the frick out of here as soon as the rats showed up. Come on, 2 more. Come on, take a freaking bite, you stupid sheep. One more. Oh. It appears they've all died. Oh no! Sheogorath has congratulated me for simulating the first 2 signs of the prophecy. I am to go to the center of town and await the final
You've
sign.
done well, mortal. I'm amused, I think. Head into the center of Border Watch and make sure to duck.
Make sure to duck? Okay. Head to the middle of town. What are we going to witness here? What the? Oh, what the? Sky's changing color. The third sign he would not speak of. What is it? Oblivion? Terrible giant creatures? Flaming arrows? No. Something far worse. More like flaming dogs! Falling out of the sky. Oh my gosh. This is the plague of fear. I should return to the shrine. Run, Khajiit! Run for your lives! Excuse me, Lord Sheogorath.
Good times! Good times! I hope you had as much fun as I did. Here, take this. It's a fun little toy. Now go away before I kill you.
Okay. Sheogorath has rewarded me for my efforts by giving me the Wabbajack. You're like, Wabbajack? What's that? Well, probably the funnest weapon in all the Elder Scrolls games. So this staff is interesting. It's a very odd staff. And what it does, you get how many uses out of it? 10. It has a chance, no matter what you shoot with it, to turn it into something random. It could turn it into a pile of money. It could turn it into a sweet roll. It could turn it into a rat. But there are trade-offs. For example, what it could do instead, if you're very unlucky, I think the next shrine we need to go to is right up here. Hang on, let me just look here. Just taking a peek at the map I have pulled up. Aha! Okay, we'll go here. But it can also turn them into something much more powerful than they already are. For example, I could shoot a rat with it and it turns into a fully leveled Daedra that attacks me. So there are definitely some some drawbacks to using it. It's not for everyone. It is really fun though, and it is just madness, as is the person who gave it to us. So that's a classic. Let's hop over here to the next shrine, see what we've got.